got another great story today. This is take 2 with Steph Krambeer. We tried it before. Phone died. We lost the recording, but she is in studio today and we are live on Facebook. So thank you guys for joining. She has a great story. She went through abuse. She went through recovery and she is now thriving in her environment. Everyone welcome Steph. Steph, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Go ahead and introduce yourself for the audience.
I'm Stephanie. I was a drug addict for 22 years, 2 years clean now, single mom of 3 kids, and yeah, just trying to figure life out.
So where are you living now that you're clean, you've moved all over the place, and we talked about
Yeah.
that in the first time you came. Where are you living now? What are you doing? Like, what's life like?
So right now I'm living in Sandy. Um, after getting sober, I got divorced, and so I wanted to kind of be closer to where I was active in the recovery community. So moved down there, and then I got back into my career of selling cars.
Selling cars.
Yeah, fun. I did that while I was in my addiction as well. So after I got sober, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it until I've at least hit a year.
Mhm.
Because I mean, it's a dealership, there's drugs around. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to make sure that I have that self control. And so now I'm better at it than I've ever been. Who knew?
Oh, that's awesome. And how long have you been clean now?
2 years on November 1st.
2 years. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on that.
Thanks.
So let's go ahead and start it. Let's get into the beginning of the story. Where did you grow up? What was life like growing up? And let's start from there.
Okay. So I was born in Germany. My mom and my biological father split up when I was about a year old. That's when my mom and I came to the States, and it was kind of one of those like, I wasn't good enough because I was a girl. And so I was like, all right, well, I'll be as good as any boy at anything I ever do, which really, that's where my trauma with men started.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, just because I'm a girl, like, I'm not good enough for you. And, any kid wants the love of their mother or their father.
Absolutely.
But I think as a girl, like, people make jokes about daddy issues and stuff, but it's real because that's the man that was from day one supposed to love and protect you and show you how you're supposed to be treated and stuff, and have that. So we moved to Colorado and stayed with my grandparents for a while. And my Opa, he is the one who, like, he was there for me. He taught me everything. Like, I hated math, but he taught me to love it.
I don't think anyone likes math except for a rare few people like my brother-in-law. So
they're a rare breed.
yes, they are.
But he taught me to ride horses, and that was where I was like, okay, so at least there's, a male figure in my life who can show me these kinds of things. And then my mom, she's an only daughter. She has 4 brothers. And one of her brothers was going through a really hard time. He was in the military. So we ended up moving to Fort Knox.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in about 4th grade, and he had a daughter who, like, a little less than a year younger than me. And then he had a son who was in high school. And, it was, all the parents were working at the time. So it was, okay, well, you're going to listen to your cousin when he gets home from school. Like, he's going to take care of you. And that's when he started molesting me. And my sexual trauma kind of started. Yeah. And it's hard because at that age, like, it's not right.
Yeah.
And you're like, but he's my family. He wouldn't do this if it wasn't okay, kind of thing. Like, trying to talk yourself into just justifying what he's doing.
Had to be hard because you're supposed to trust family.
Exactly. But at the same time, it's like I never said anything to my parents because, that side of you that's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
So that started, and then we ended up moving after my uncle was okay. Went back to Colorado, which, I've lived everywhere: Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, all over the
Yeah.
place. But we moved back to Colorado, and um, getting into high school, like, well, let me back up just a little bit. So middle school, like I grew up playing soccer.
It's a good sport.
Oh man, I love it. And back then it was, Mia Hamm was huge. So I was like, I'm gonna be Mia Hamm.
Yep. I remember Mia.
Oh, her in that Michael Jordan commercial, like anything you can do, I could do. I was like, yep, tell him, girl.
That's awesome.
So when I was in 6th grade, I ended up getting hurt. And back then it was incredibly easy to get like narcotics and all this stuff. And so that's really where my addiction started. I hurt my right ankle. And getting into high school, that's where it was like, okay, well, there's more things that you can try. And so before school, I would do some pills, drink with my friends, just do dumb things, which I was like, okay, well, this is a high school experience. Everybody's supposed to do this. And then I was in a relationship right before like freshman year. And that's where and I know I was incredibly young, but that's where I had like, okay, I'm going to give myself to my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Because, it was the whole, oh, I love you. And if you loved me, then you would do this. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, the manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did. And then school started, and I had people going around calling me like a homie hopper and all this. And I was like, what? Like, I've only done it one time with one person, because I try to block the rest out,
Yeah. Rumors always go around in high school.
Oh, yeah. And come to find out, like, he and his friends who went around and was like, oh, yeah, we all got to, have sex with her. And so that just brought back a lot of the, abuse from my cousin, and which then triggered, you're not good enough for your biological father, you're not good enough for anybody.
Yeah.
The only thing you're good for is this, and that's all people want from you. So I started getting really depressed. That was, I'd say, the very first time where I really dabbled in anything other than like pain pills. Um, and I just didn't care. I became like, I had a lot of suicidal thoughts. And then I would try to fight those. And then sophomore year, I started dating this junior. And we were supposed to go on this romantic date. And he was like, oh, I forgot to make reservations. Like, he came from this loaded family. So when he was like, I forgot to make reservations, I was like, oh, we were supposed to go somewhere super nice, just gullible. So then he was like, we're just going to go to my house and we'll watch a movie and all this. And I'm like, okay. So we go to his house and he's playing video games. And I'm on the couch like,
this isn't fun.
Yeah, like, when is this date supposed to start? And he ended up raping me, and on my way home, put a gun to my head.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It, as sad as it is, like, I was like, well, this is what you deserve, kind of thing. This is
It's who you are.
Right. But he was like, if you tell anyone, I swear I'll kill you. Well, I went home and I actually told my parents. I didn't tell them right away. I had like the whole basement of our house. So I ran down there, and this was back like AOL Messenger and Yahoo Messenger and all that stuff.
Oh, I remember all that.
Yeah, back in the good old days. But my AIM had gone off, and I went over to check it, and it was a message from him. And he was like, I meant what I said. And so that's when I was like, okay, well, he's going to kill me, So I went and told my parents. And that's where I started having issues with like police, and because they came and a female officer was like, well, there's no way we can prove that you didn't give consent. We can't prove this is him sending the message. You know, like it could be anybody at his computer. And I'm like,
Wow.
really? Like you're a female? And um,
Yeah, that's a downer.
it is. It's like you're supposed to be able to count on these people. And to hear that, it's just like, okay, I'm not over here crying wolf, you know? Um, so after that, it just got even worse for me. When I was 17, I ended up in a mental institution for trying to kill myself. My dad had taken me, and my dad is my stepdad. My parents have been married 20 years now.
Okay.
Um, but he had taken me to the emergency room. And after that, I went to the mental institution, and I was out of high school at the time. And so they're like, well, she can either go to the kids' side or she can go to the adult side. And
you're like 16, right?
I was 17.
17.
Yeah. And well, we lived in Colorado Springs. What made up the majority of the adult side were military men. And but I was like, yeah, no, she's going to the kids' side. You know, like
Yeah.
she's not getting this option. Because I was like, I'm grown, you know, I don't want to be around a bunch of kids. And um but I went, it was called Cedar Springs. And as soon as I got in there, I met this little boy. I mean, he's the age of my youngest now. So he was 6
In a mental
in a mental
institution.
institution.
Wow.
His mom didn't want him. And at that age, he had tried killing himself. And
That's sad. That
it
is crazy.
is. You know, I'm like, here I am at 17 thinking I have problems, you know? And so that kid really helped me while I was in there to kind of get through that hump that I was going through. And I got out, and, you know, I had friends that I went back to and hung out with. And one of them, her boyfriend was in the military. And I could get on post because my dad was in the military.
Yeah.
And so went over there, or she asked if I would take her. So we went over there, and that's when I ended up getting raped by 4 army dudes.
Wow.
And I literally,
you can't catch a break.
No. Like when I say like I literally felt like just a piece of meat, and that I would never amount to anything at all. That's where I was. I was like, why am I going to quit drugs? Like, you know, they make me feel good. Life makes me feel like nothing.
Yeah.
Just, I didn't really want to feel anything anyways.
Which is what the drugs did. The drugs would numb you, right?
100%.
And, you know, I did a podcast with the guy, Chris Avery. He said drugs are the solution for people who go through stuff like that.
Yeah.
And why would I stop doing drugs when life makes me feel like dirt and drugs make me feel like nothing is wrong? And so totally see how it goes. And so it's a big cycle for that.
Yeah. Well, and they're easily accessible.
Yeah, they are.
You know, I mean, when people are like, oh, I can't find drugs, open your eyes. Like literally just open your eyes. Doesn't matter where you go, you know, I moved to Utah, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to get my drugs?
Oh, it's all around.
Oh yeah. I've found it easier to find drugs here than anywhere else. And I'm like, that's crazy. And I mean, Utah is where I got into fentanyl.
Yeah, it's huge here.
Oh yeah. And yeah, I had my oldest when I was 18. And that relationship was incredibly abusive. I was pregnant, and he tried kicking me off the bed, telling me he didn't want me to have his baby.
Wow.
My baby shower, the cops got called because it was a huge thing. Like I had a solid oak wood table. He broke it. My mom ran into the room because she heard him calling me a bitch and all this stuff. And he was like, get out of my room. And she's like, this is my daughter. I don't think so. And he ended up, the police said that it was domestic violence, destruction of property, child abuse, because there were babies in the same room.
Yeah.
And there was like 1 or 2 other ones. But so I ended up moving to Texas with my mom. And he showed up in Texas.
Wow.
And he was like, I want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. Come back home with me. And so I was like, okay.
And how many years later was this?
This was like a month or two later.
Oh, only a month or
Oh,
two.
yeah. I
Okay.
was still pregnant. And, you know, I think I had that mentality of I grew up without my biological father.
Yeah.
So I didn't want my child to grow up like that. So I got back with him and things were good for like a month, if that. And then it went right back.
Right back.
And so I was like, well, I'm just going to stick it through because what am I going to do? Call my mom and be like, hey, mom, I need you to move me back to Texas again, which I could have,
Yeah.
but, and then finally when my son turned a year old, I was like, I'm done. Became a single mother and I was working 3 jobs. And I worked at a daycare center during the day. And then I worked at like 2 different bars at night. And
Are you still using it this time?
yeah, that's what I was going to say. As much as I would like to say it was just for him,
Yeah.
I had to find some sort of a way to get my fix. And I would go to the emergency room and be like, oh, I just have abdominal pain. That's the easiest way. Because they're like, oh, we can't figure it out, but it's your your abdominal area. So it could be appendicitis, it could be ovarian cyst, it could be this. And so it was like, we're gonna send you home with some pain pills. Okay. Like if I have to. Um, and then a friend of mine, she was like, you're always so tired. Why don't you get into stripping?
You're always so tired. Why don't you get into stripping?
Yeah.
Explain that how it makes sense to me. I don't understand that logic right there.
Well, because her outlook on it all was if I got into stripping, then I wouldn't have to work day and night 7 days a week.
Okay.
And I'd make more money.
So strip so you can sleep better.
Right.
Okay.
And spend more time with your kid. And well, strip clubs have lots of drugs.
Oh yeah, they do.
I mean, the very first one I ever worked at literally got busted for having a meth lab in the basement.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, if like I didn't have to go to the emergency room anymore. Let's put it that way.
It was probably provided for you too by clients.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
And so then I met my daughter's biological father, and we ended up moving to Kentucky, and that was a whole other, he was abusive and he was cheating on me and he was talking to his ex-girlfriend the whole time, and I'm like, dude, I literally like moved you across the country. And I ended up having to have a C-section with my daughter, and he ended up going to jail, getting arrested. And when you've had a C-section, like you're not supposed to drive, you're not supposed to do all this stuff for
Yeah, you're not
like
supposed to
weeks.
carry the baby, you're not supposed to lift anything heavy.
Yep. And she was in the NICU. All my kids were in the NICU for exactly 2 weeks. But so I'm in the bathtub, like I can't really move. And there's somebody banging on my door and they're like, Steph, you need to hurry up. He just got arrested. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like now have to try and get out of the bathtub and get dressed by myself and walk down the stairs and,
Yeah.
So I ended up getting like really bad scar tissue and stuff. And I was in a lot of pain. So just more pain pills and I
just fuel the fire.
Yeah. It was just easy for me to get them. Whether I was at work or if I had to go to the hospital or if it was friends, because I had friends who sold. And when my daughter was about 2.5, I left him. And then
So you stayed with him for a little while.
Yeah, I was with him for about 4 years.
Okay.
But it was always because I was abandoned when I was a year old. I had those issues where like I had to be attached.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be by myself. But I'm attaching myself to my trauma, which are men. And I'm like, oh, red flag, come here. Like, let's be besties and love me for like, however long you feel like it. But after that, I met, who's now my ex-husband. And in the beginning, like things were great. And then we had a situation happen where he cheated on me, and in just a year I had 3 miscarriages.
Oh wow.
And so it was a lot. And then in a matter of like 6 months we moved from Oregon to South Carolina and then here. And so
what brought you guys to Utah specifically?
So he was married before me, and they had a daughter together. And his dad was like, "Hey, I'm moving to Utah to, for the company that he was working for."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'd like for you to work for me." And so I was like, "Well, let's go." And we came down here, and I was like, "Well, Utah's cool and all, but I don't want to live here forever. I've been here. It'll be 10 years in April."
Everybody says they always want to leave, but then they stay or they come back.
Yep. I think it's like a spell or something that the church puts on you. Like they have like this whole, you're not leaving. No, but so that's when I really, really, really like I had done coke and all that stuff and really got heavily into my addiction, because I was like, I married you and you were supposed to be the one man who didn't hurt me, which again, it's back to your where your trauma started. And so, there were, and I'm not going to say like I was perfect in our marriage, because I was on drugs, so yeah, there were times where I was selfish, I was manipulative, I lied. Where's this money going? This bill? No. Or, oh, my prescriptions. That was one thing I would always say, my prescriptions.
Yeah.
They were prescribed to me by myself. Like, that's how loophole, like
justification.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So, I had met like my dealer, and I had gotten Roxy 30s prescribed to me, because I do have medical issues, and it got to the point where I would be out of 100. I got like 180 or 190 a month, and I would go through those in less than a week.
Wow.
And I'm like, they're not doing anything for me, and I was snorting them. And so I'd go to my dealer and I'd be like, hey, do you have some 30s? And he'd be like, yeah, I got you. Well, one day I took a 30 and I slept like the whole day. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, all right, well, maybe these are a little different, so I'm just going to take half of one.
That's probably the fentanyl ones, right?
Yep. That's how I got into fentanyl. And
did he know they were laced with fentanyl, or did he he knew?
And it was oh, well, I think my buddy might be making them in his basement. No, Yeah. And because when I asked him, by the time I asked him, it was too late. I was already addicted. But that's when he was like, yeah, great, and I remember I had to have surgery after I had my youngest. So I had the miscarriages and everything, got pregnant with my youngest, and my youngest, he actually was in the NICU because he was born addicted to morphine. And so they had to wean him off. And I stayed there with him day and night. And I would go to the bathroom and snort some fentanyl and then go back and stay with him. As I'm like, you're such a shitty mom. Like, your kid is here on like addicted to morphine. They're having to wean him off. Like, what is wrong with you? Oh, wait, time to go snort.
Yeah. As you're thinking about it.
Yeah. And I'm like trying to justify it and be like, okay, well, you're still a good mom because you care. It's balance. As much as that doesn't make sense, to me, it made sense at the time. And
well, your mind is different while on drugs too.
100%.
Totally different.
Yeah. because I mean, you have the mentality of, I can't ever get off of this
Mm-hmm.
because if I do, then I'm going to die. It's very ironic. And then you're like, okay, well, I have to figure out how to navigate living on drugs and nobody finding out that I'm a drug addict. And, you have this is going to be the last time. And then you do it again. Okay, this is going to be the last time. And that's just never a thing. And,
It's always the last
well,
time.
yeah, I don't want to say it's never a thing because obviously, but, yeah, so I got to the point, I was snorting over 35 fentanyl a day. And
Tablets each,
yeah,
like 35 tablets.
yep. And
How are you alive?
I overdosed a few times. Like, there was one where my kids had actually found me in the bathroom, and my ex-husband and I, we were going through some stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he told the paramedics, like, oh well, she's just, I told her that we're getting a divorce, so she's just doing this, kind of thing.
Being
And
over dramatic.
yeah, which, I mean, like, one thing I had mentioned to you when we tried recording everything, was I don't hold any, truthfully, I don't hold any bad feelings towards anybody in my past who's done anything wrong to me. Is the trauma there? Yes. Is the hurt from, like, choices I've made, and sometimes I lash that out on people, from the guilt and the shame? Yes. But I've understood, or I understand that they were sick.
Yeah.
Because they had, like I mentioned, they had this control. And when I was on drugs, I felt that control that they had. And as weird as it may sound, it's like, okay, well, when you're that sick, all you want is control because you've lacked it for so long. And so I got a taste of that. And when I got sober, it was like, okay, well, I understand.
Yeah.
Like, they were just sick. Not saying that what they did was okay. But I can't continue, like, feeling like I'm just a victim, because I'm not. Like, I survived all of that. So instead of considering myself a victim, I'm like, no, I'm a survivor.
Oh yeah.
I made it through.
Especially after all that you went through.
What's crazy is, like, I can talk about it now and not cry. I used to cry all the time. And now I'm like, like, it still, like, kind of tugs at me. And I still, like, I have BPD. So it's like, I still go back to those moments.
Mm-hmm.
There's things that trigger me, and I, like, relive the whole thing all over again. But it's like, I found a way where I can talk myself to be like, hey, you're the woman that you are right now, here in this moment, because of this. And it's like, well, thanks. Like, thank you for all the shit that I've been through.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Because now here I am, 2 years clean, and as hard as life is sometimes, I'm able to make it through. And I'm able to put my kids first, because I didn't do that when I was a drug addict. I put myself first.
Yeah. I don't think many drug addicts do put other
No,
people first
no,
at all.
no, never. Um, and I don't think people understand, like, it literally, it is a disease.
Yeah.
When people are like, oh, no, it's not. No, it is, because I would do anything for my kids. Absolutely anything. But I couldn't stop doing drugs for them. After my youngest was born, I had to have surgery. And I still have the recording on my phone. We were on our way to the doctors, and I literally made a will and test, like a will on my phone.
Really?
Yep, because I knew I had already taken so much fentanyl that day. And when you have surgery, they give you fentanyl. So I was like, I'm not going to come out of my surgery. And I want to make sure that my kids go somewhere where I trust and I want them to go, and that they stay together. And there's times where I listen to it, and I'm like,
Still to this day, you
to
listen
this
to it?
day. And you can hear it in my voice where it's like, just, I'm like, oh, God, that's disgusting.
Who was that?
Yeah. Like, that's not me. Um, and it helps me stay sober. Like, I couldn't get sober for my kids, but I stay sober for my kids. Um, and it's, like I said, the last time I used was Halloween of 2023.
Mhm.
And
And this is what I usually ask people is what was your why, right? When was your why? When did you realize like when did that light flick in the mind? And
mm,
I remember the story from the last time
mhm,
you did it. And so this is your why.
yeah,
And so anyone who's watching live, check this out. This is a great story and a realization of what was going on in her head and how the switch just flipped for
yeah.
you.
So my brother, one of my brothers, he got married in Georgia, and my kids and I went down to Georgia for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex-husband and I were going through some stuff. And I literally, like, this is supposed to be a happy moment for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, well, if you don't get divorced, and, just making all these comments. And I ruined their wedding, like, just ruined it.
Wow.
My grandfather, my opa, the man who, taught me all these things and was there for me, he had got diagnosed with cancer. And at first, they were like, he's going to have a few years, and then it went to a few months. And I was just, at this time, I was literally getting high 24 hours a day. I had alarms on my phone to wake me up to get high. And the last night there, my mom and I got into a huge fight, huge. And I took my kids and went to a different hotel. I didn't say bye to my grandfather. And this is where I'm going to get emotional. And I get home. Thanks. I get home, and a couple days later, my mom calls me, and they're at the hospital with my opa. And she's like, you need to say goodbye. And so I say goodbye. And instead of going to his funeral, I went and got drugs. And so it took almost a year after that. And Halloween, my kids are out trick or treating. And I had gotten even deeper from losing my grandfather. And my kids are out trick or treating. And instead of like me being a mom, I was in my car getting high as they're going door to door. And I get home, and I was like, I just don't want to do this. I really don't. And I heard my grandfather's voice. And after that, I was just like, I'm done. I had a prescription to go and get my Roxy's,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't go fill it. Um, I was withdrawing from the fentanyl in my bed for 7 days.
That is not easy. Not easy at all.
No. There was, I didn't go detox. I didn't do any of that. And I looked a mess. My hair was in this huge bun with puke all over it, like all over the floor. I couldn't move. Oh, it was gross. I was like, why did I decide to do that? Like, I think I'm like clinically insane for doing that.
Yeah, not many people can say they got off drugs on their own. I think out of everyone that I've interviewed, one other person said I just did it on my own, and that was my
Yeah.
buddy Chris Avery, he's actually going to run around the United States,
Oh, I
and
love that.
he's the only other one. Like it's not easy to do. It's not common, and so you never went to recovery, you never went to detox, you never went. Well, I shouldn't say
So,
recovery because
yeah.
recovery is your whole life, but you never went to a detox or you never went to an inpatient clinic or anything.
So I did go to an inpatient after I detoxed on my own.
Okay.
I did that for, like I said, it was 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And when I could finally start to get like something in my system, because I couldn't drink water, I couldn't do anything. I had to tell my ex-husband, like, I need you to take me to the emergency room. Just carry me. They need to give me an IV. I'm so dehydrated. That was when I'm like, okay, now I'm really gonna die. and
Yeah.
um but I got one bag of fluids and went back home and finished detoxing. And I ended up, after that, I went to residential treatment inpatient. It was in Bluffdale. And on the way there, I was like, nope, I don't want to do it. I can't leave my kids 30 days because the addict in me was like, if you do this, you're going 30 days with no way of being able to get drugs. And I was like, nope, just take me home. So the guy who worked in the administration, he had his wife call me and she talked to me the whole way there. And I was like, we get to the house and I was like, you did this on purpose. Like, screw you. See what you did, and I think it was the day after, like, she actually came and she brought me like homemade cookies and sleepy time tea and a book and wrote me the nicest letter that I still have about how I can do this. And I was like, all right, let's do this. Because she had went to the same treatment center.
Yeah.
And she was like, this is what got me through. And I remember like my first day, it was chaos in that house. And I was like, oh my God, I just entered the real world of addicts, like addict style. This is insane. No, this makes me want to do drugs. Like, what are you really? But yeah, I told them, I said, I will be out of here by this day. I said, because my daughter has a cheer competition, I will not miss it. And at first, I did everything, groups and therapy and stuff to pacify them. And then my grandfather's 1 year anniversary of his passing while I was there. And I was like, okay, I really got to do this. I kept telling everybody, oh, one and done for me, because I know people who have gone to so many treatment centers.
Yeah,
Some
it's
of them,
pretty common.
yeah. And it's like, oh, this is number 12. Or there was one, it was like the 23rd
Wow.
treatment center. And I was just like, okay, like, I don't want that. But then in the back of my head, I was like, oh, so I can do this again. Like,
I can go get high and do it
yeah,
again. Yeah.
it's fine. But I was like, no, this is one and done. And so that day, that's when I really opened up in therapy and stuff. And she was like, this is the real you. And because the first time I was just like, oh yeah, well, this happened and this and that,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, she was like, this is where you actually start to recover. And so I went all in. I was completely honest. I was completely open and vulnerable, and which was hard for me because I was like, oh, I don't want to be vulnerable, which is hard for any addict,
I think I hear that from everyone who I talk to.
Oh, yeah.
They say it was really hard to open up about it.
Yeah, because you have so much shame and guilt, and you're embarrassed.
Yep.
Because, I mean, I make jokes about it now when people say stuff, and I'm like, I've done more for less. Like, it don't faze me. Okay, you don't know my past. But we carry so much weight. And, one thing is like when we first get sober, it's like, oh, well, we expect everybody to just forgive us, just like that. And I was thinking about one day and I was like, it took me 22 years in drugs and rehab to get over my trauma. And I'm expecting everyone I hurt to just get over it like that. And I was like, just how I needed time. I have to give them time and give them grace.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I would get mad. Like, why are you so mad at me for that? Get the hell over it. Like, but you start to have these conversations. And like, I did the 12-step program, and making amends was harder to do when it came to some people than others. My ex-husband, that was hard. My brother and sister, or my sister-in-law, that was hard.
Yeah.
But now it's like, it has been 2 years and I've made so many changes. I've still gone through so much stuff. Like the day I got out of treatment, I found out that 5 days before that, one of my really good friends had passed away. And I was like, wow, I didn't get to say bye. A couple months later, my daughter and I get into a really bad car accident, get my car totaled. And then that year in September, they found a friend of mine in a car burnt to death in a field in Tennessee.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm supposed to stay sober? Like, it hasn't even been a year. And I'm supposed to, okay, got you.
A lot to fight through.
Yeah. And on top of that was my divorce. And, I got very involved in the sober community. I was on the entertainment committee. I was always at meetings. I was chairing meetings. I was just so in it, like 6 days a week. And then I got into sober softball, and I played softball growing up. But apparently during my addiction, I forgot how to play. 'Cause that's my excuse. Okay. um, no, but so I got back into that, and I was like, a lot of people preach when you get sober, like, oh, you have to do this, you have to live recovery this way, but you don't. You have to do what works for you, because what works for
Mm-hmm.
one person isn't going to necessarily work for you. And for me, what works is my kids, working, and softball. I now coach a men's, women's, and co-ed softball team, and I play for my teams, and we do like AFA and One Nation, and all this stuff. And my kids get to go, and my youngest now wants to play t-ball, and I'm
That's
like,
cool. And then you guys went down to a tournament not too long ago, right?
oh
And
yes,
was
don't
it
yes.
around? Wasn't it with a bunch of people who've been through recovery that you've gotten to know? Because I know and a
Yeah,
few people on the team were like, "Oh yeah, I know Steph. We're
yeah,
going to do softball together." And that's when you told me like, "Hey, I got to do softball before I come back." And
yeah. Went down to Mesquite for Worlds, which I had to throw teams together last minute because of a mix up that had happened. So it wasn't even like my original teams,
yeah,
which
and then you had to play on
they'll never
fields
do
with
it
like trees in the middle of
again. Dude, it's
them.
like, yeah, incredibly. The first day was great. It was beautiful weather. But yeah, one of the girls on my women's team, like, oh, we were in the outfield, and the ball's coming down, and she like took her hand to clasp it over, and her pinky broke.
Ooh,
And she's like, I think I broke my finger, and looks at me, and she pulls it out, and blood's just, and I was like,
yep.
let's go. I mean, you got the third out, so great. You get a break. But yeah, she ended up breaking it. And then um I don't know if it's okay to say her name. The one you
um,
know?
Brooke.
Yeah.
Let's just do
Okay, well,
first
you said it
names.
first, so
Yeah,
it's
let's
fine.
just do first names.
Okay, yeah.
I know a lot of Brooks, so
Yeah. So Brooke, like, her and I met, and she's great.
mhm.
Like, her and I, oh, we were talking so much shit to each other. And it was just,
Yeah, we grew up together, so
yeah, she's awesome. I'm like, you need to come visit. Like, love her. Um, but yeah, we had a great time, and I feel like that's what it's about, just finding what brings you true happiness in life, because you lose that,
yeah,
and it's like you think that the drugs that you're taking and stuff, that's your happiness.
yeah,
And it's like getting sober, and instead of just going back to, okay, well, I'm not happy right now, so I'm going to go back to drugs. It's okay, let me try something else. If you've never gone hiking, let me try hiking. Let me do the gym. I got back into the, like, gym, because I don't know if I told you this. Like, after I got sober, I ended up tearing the ligaments in my ankle playing softball.
no, never heard that
Oh
one.
yeah, yeah. It was bad. I was running home, and I got the side of third instead of the top, and my ankle just popped. And I went straight down.
Mm,
And 2 days after that happened, because they did an X-ray at the hospital, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're totally fine. It's just, a little bruised and swollen." Okay. So 2 days later, I did a golf tournament. And then for 5 months after that, I was playing softball every single week. And after 5 months, I was like, something's not right.
yeah, it didn't get better.
No. And found out I had completely torn the ligaments on the side of my ankle, had tears in the ligaments on the top, and I had bone marrow bruising because it had been so long, which is blood and fluid buildup in my joints.
Yep.
So they're like, you need surgery. And I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, I can't take pain meds. Like, I don't want it. And so I'd stopped going to the gym, and everything was just really painful. And had my surgery this this past January. And I had come up with a whole plan, and my ex-husband was like very supportive of it.
That's awesome.
Because I was like, I can't do it. And he was like, your surgeon or your surgeon said that this is one of the top 5 most painful surgeries. There's no way you can go without it. And I was like, uh-huh, great. Like, um, so I did, but I was very hard. Like I took pain meds, but I was very hard on myself. I was like, oh my God, did I just relapse?
And
And
the answer when it's required or when it's necessary is no, right? Because
right,
there's a way that you can take pain meds for medical necessities
right.
without relapsing. It's not a
Yeah.
relapse, but yeah, I actually talked to someone last week about it. They're going to come to my school. Her name's Mallory. She
Mhm.
was like, we teach people that it's okay to take things in specific times without relapsing and going into an addiction again.
Right.
And so definitely is something, like, but I'm sure it's on the back of your mind because it's like, I'm trying to avoid
Yeah.
it 100%.
Yep. And I think it's important to understand like if that situation happens,
Hmm.
take it as prescribed.
Definitely.
If you're taking it as prescribed, then you're not abusing it.
Yeah.
It's when you start abusing it that addiction comes in.
Especially when you don't need it anymore, but it's what gives you that homeostasis, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I mean, I was able to quit them, and I was like, okay, like you're
Nice.
doing really good. And then I got back into the gym and it's just like I said, I still go through things.
Yeah.
Life doesn't get easy. When I have spoken at meetings and stuff, I tell people like, you know, life doesn't get any easier, it just gets more beautiful. Because you can actually, as hard as it is to feel feelings, you get to feel feelings. And like when you feel that disappointment and that, I don't want to say like hatred, but that hurt and stuff,
Hmm.
it makes it so worth it when you get to feel that love and that happiness. And, I could be having the worst day ever and knowing like my kids want to spend time with me. My oldest, he will be 17 in March. And it's like him and I are closer than we've ever been. And this kid did not talk. He didn't say bye to me when I left for treatment. He only talked to me one time while I was in treatment, and that was because I blocked the number and I tricked him to answer his phone. Yeah.
You had to trick your son into talking to
Yeah. I was like, I just want to hear your voice. Okay, please don't hang up.
him.
And then after I got out, he didn't talk to me for 3 months after. And I would try, I'd go into his room and he couldn't even get mad. He'd be like, leave me the alone. And I'm like, okay. And I closed the door, like, he's still mad, you
Yeah,
know? And my daughter's 13 and my youngest is 6. And it's like, I'm happy and they're happy to see me. And, my daughter, she'll put little sticky notes on my mirror in the mornings. Like one of them, she's like, you're a boss, don't forget, and you're beautiful. And just all these little cute things.
that is awesome.
Yeah. It was about a week or 2 ago. She started crying and she was like, Mom, I'm so proud of you. She's like, because you get tired and you stress. She's like, and you do all this stuff to take care of us and you're still sober, and I'm like, I never thought I'd hear that. Um, I never thought my oldest would come and talk to me about girls. Like sometimes I'm like, you sure you want to talk to me?
My middle boy still won't talk to us, but we're waiting.
Yeah,
He'll get
it'll
to that
happen.
point.
It'll happen. Um, but yeah, my life is so different. Yeah, I'm a single mom and yeah, there are times where I struggle. But I think that's one of the biggest things too is I'll be divorced 2 years in April
Hmm.
and I'm alone.
Yeah,
This is the longest I've been alone because I don't have like those attachment issues anymore. And I found love within myself and I found confidence within myself. And
and you're thriving.
yeah, like,
Definitely thriving.
I mean, oh, it's hard, like, when you're switching jobs and stuff like that. But it's like, you know what? I'm like, I know once I get things on the road, I'll be fine
Yeah,
because I do every time. And I don't have to, you know, like have that codependency. Yeah, it's okay to ask for help if you need it,
hmm,
because everybody goes through hardships, but it's like I don't have to fully depend on someone else. Like I can do this and my kids see that I can do this.
yeah,
And I know it's like a thing where, addicts, like their kids, there's a higher percentage of them becoming addicts. But even my oldest, he's like, Mom, after seeing what you, like, who you were and what you went through, he goes, I'm good. Like, they thought it was funny because I'd be folding laundry and then I would just fall asleep. Or my daughter had a video of me where I was walking down the hallway and I just bent over, fell asleep, my
Wow.
arms swinging. And they're like, look, Mom's so tired. Look at, she's just falling over, right? Because they thought it was funny. And then now they're like, wow, that was you on drugs. And so it's like, at the ages that they are, they've never had to endure anything that I've had to. And I will take that every single day as a win. And now that I'm able to be the mom that they deserve and that they want and that they need, I'll make sure none of that ever happens.
Yeah.
So
That is
sad,
awesome. No,
but
thank you for sharing the story.
yeah,
If
no.
you could give anyone who's still going through recovery right now, anyone who's going through trials, not even recovery, because if they're in recovery, they're in the process, right?
Mhm.
But if there's anyone who's still struggling with it, not able to do it, what is one piece of advice you would give them?
Um, I don't know if this is what I had said last time, but
It doesn't
don't
matter.
don't be scared to reach out. Um, reach out and talk to someone because they could either be the person that you need to talk to and that can help you get through it,
Mm-hmm.
or they can point you in that direction. But you're not alone. You're never alone. And there is truthfully a light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to get through it and get help, though. Get help with that.
For sure.
So,
And we talked about this last time. The recovery community is one of the best communities out there.
mhm.
Most supportive,
Yeah.
non-judgmental, understanding. Like it's great.
Yeah.
I've never had to go through recovery myself,
Mhm.
but I've been getting involved with it more with the school that I work at, and
Right.
I've been working with the adults for about a year now, and it's just amazing how cool it is. I mean, that's how my involvement. That's why I started telling the stories and bringing people in, was because I saw how they were doing and what was going on in their lives and how awesome it was. And I'm like, more people need this. More people
Yeah.
need to see this. And it's just been crazy how cool it is.
Yeah. Because even though I'm sober, I'm still an addict,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, we're not bad people.
No.
We're some of the best people that you'll
Mm-hmm.
ever meet. And it's like when we get sober, we are the type where we know what it's like to go without. We know what it's like to
Mm-hmm.
be in this situation. So it's like, we'll help. Don't get me wrong. It is, you have people here or there, where it's like, okay, like when you're newly recovered, like I was talking about earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh, well, people need to forgive me right now and they need it because you still have that
Yeah.
selfish mindset. But
And people will do things while they're high, and that are not good choices.
oh, yeah.
But when sobriety hits, total difference.
Yep. And it's, you try to find ways to make up for it all you'll give, like,
Mm-hmm.
you go to somebody who's in recovery, they will give you the shirt off their back, the shoes on their feet. They will literally give you their last piece of bread. And they come together when people need help.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely beautiful.
I did a podcast with a guy. I'm gonna give him a shout out, Will Bell.
Mhm.
Hopefully he's watching. If he's not, then hopefully he watches this later. But he literally, after we did a podcast, he's texting me, "Hey, I got some more people I want you to meet. Hey,
Mhm.
these people need some help." And he's been helping so many people. He's been finding them meetings. He's been getting them help. He's been trying to find them housing if they're homeless.
Mhm.
And it's been awesome to see. And he's starting a podcast now,
Oh, nice.
and he wants to help people share stories too. So check out his podcast. But it's incredible what people go through, or what they have to go through in order to realize, wow, life is beautiful, right?
Mhm.
And one of those things for some people is drugs and deep down depths.
Yeah.
But he's a great example of it. Him and his friend Whitney Smooin. I hope I said her last name right.
I feel like you said it kind of quietly.
She was at the recovery center that I was working with, and she used to come to the school that I'm at and use the gym. And she added me on Facebook, and she's the same way. They are both like on this warpath to help people, which is the coolest thing to see. And they are awesome people.
Yeah.
And they'll just randomly check in with me every once in a while and say, "Hey, I haven't heard from you for a few days. How are things going?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Hey, yeah, things are good. How are you doing?" I'm just, and the whole community, the more people I've been introduced to, the more I've been loving just talking to people and getting to know their stories. And they're all the same, but they're also different at the same time, because they're all personalized in a different way. And it's been the coolest thing.
And that's how, like I have sponsees,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, that's how you connect with people.
Yeah.
Or if somebody is like, hey, I'm going through this, you can connect them to someone, like, by hearing other people's stories and stuff like, "Oh, I think you guys would be good together," you know? And no, I think it's great what you said, Will and Whitney,
Yeah.
what they're doing. Like, I mean, if they need some help with, like, finding me, because I know of tons of meetings, so maybe there's one that they don't know about that could help somebody or something, like, and vice versa. Because I still know people who could use some help, and,
Oh yeah.
um, I think it's great what they're doing, because there's people, like, when you drive down the street and, you can tell when someone's an addict, you know, and people just judge them, and it's like, try helping them.
Hmm.
Stop judging them, try helping them, and I guarantee you help someone who's an addict get sober, and they are going to do anything and everything they can to repay you. And it's like, don't do it for that
Yeah.
reason, for a selfish reason, but save someone's life.
Yeah.
Like, and you might just make a new best friend.
Oh, for sure. I don't know if you know. Do you know Manny Lopez? I'm gonna give him a shout out too. He
I don't
helped.
know.
He helps a lot with Level Up IOP, but
I know Level Up, but
he's come to my school 3 times now, I want to say, and talked to the kids. But he is so involved in the recovery community.
yeah.
So again, if you guys need help, you can reach out to Steph. She knows. Reach out to Will. He's on my friends list. Reach out to Whitney. Reach out to Manny. There's a lot of people that'll help. And people aren't saying, "Well, this is my recovery. This is what I did," and so I'm gonna kind of lead you there. Like, hey, let me tell you other people I know, and if they can't help, what's the coolest thing is if they can't help, they will find some way to help
Exactly.
and say, "Oh, I don't know where you can get help with that, but let me go find it for you."
Mhm.
And they will take the lead on it. It's the coolest thing. So Manny, one time, a girl on TikTok, she still wants to podcast with me. It's been like 6 months since she reached out,
Nice.
but she said, "I don't want to do it because of my teeth." And I said, "We can do an audio one." She goes, "No, I really want to video it." And then I told Manny about that, and he's like, "Oh, I know dentists who will take care of that for her.
Mhm.
I know people who will pay for her new teeth." And I reached out to her. She never responded back to it. But the first thing he said was, "Oh, I can help her out,"
Yeah.
which is the coolest thing in the world.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not about having people live your recovery.
Hmm.
It's finding a way to help them live theirs,
Yeah.
and it's just a great thing. So, like, if there is someone who is watching this and they're in that stage, like, they're tired of being a piece of shit. Because, I mean, let's be real, as addicts, we're pieces of shits, like, 100%. Um, but just reach out to anybody, even you, because you've met so many people through this.
Tons. Yeah.
And yeah, so it's like, which I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
It's been a lot of fun too. Like I think I benefit from it just as much as anybody else.
yeah. And I mean, to be completely honest, like, I was texting my best friend on the way here. I was like, I think I'm gonna shit I'm so nervous. Like, I was like, sorry. I was like, I'm so nervous right now. And but I know how important it is. And so it's like you're helping me get through, like, that stage fright, if you will,
Hmm.
and maybe it helped at least one person,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
the goal, right?
Yeah. And it's like for every person that you bring on here, if that person just helps one person, and then that person helps one
Yeah,
person,
the
it's
domino effect.
exactly. And it's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I don't want you to stop. I want you to keep doing this. Okay.
Trying, still got to figure out the lighting and the sound on everything, but
I
that
think it's
comes with
great.
time. That comes with
Yeah.
time. Is there anything else you want to tell the audience before we go ahead and end
um, I won't throw my phone number out there, but
it? That's what social media is for, right? It's a lot
yeah,
safer.
yeah, but yeah, if you or someone needs help, just reach out. I'd be happy to point you into a direction, um, to help. And other than that, like, it's never too late. Never too late. Doesn't matter how old you are, how far gone you think you are. It's never too late to get help and get sober.
Never.
Nope.
Yeah, I've seen guys at Cedar Ridge. I'll give them a shout out. They're down in Mount Pleasant. That's the ones I work with here and there.
Mhm.
There's been guys in their 50s, 60s
Yeah.
that are in there.
Yep.
So it is never too late.
Nope. And it's beautiful. Like, I've gone to meetings where I see people pick up their 30-year chip and their 40-year chip, and I'm like, I just picked up 2 years, but I'll get there one day, but it's like, it's amazing, because it's like,
Hmm.
to start from being like, this is my life now. I'm gonna die from drugs, and I'm okay with that, or from suicide, because you know, in your addiction tend to have those suicidal tendencies quite a bit.
Yeah.
But and then to be like, to see people doing it, it's like, wow, it really is possible. And that's, you know, one thing that your podcast brings too. Like, people may not reach out, at least not like right then and there, but they're like, it puts that light on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hopefully.
I can do that.
That's the goal. Yeah, I've had a lot of people say no or just ghost me when I ask them, but that's totally good. It's their story. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to push someone to it. So,
Yeah.
well, Steph, thanks for making the drive down.
Yeah, no.
Came down from Salt Lake County, and hopefully the traffic wasn't too bad. Utah traffic is terrible on I-15.
Yeah, I think it was only like 3 times where I was like, "Would you drive?" So
That's good. So, but no, thanks for coming down and sharing your story again. I'm so glad that you're able to share it again after the technical difficulties from the first one. But having you here in person was really good because you're able to kind of, you know, connect with it and be able to share it. And we're live, first live broadcast we've ever done. So thank you guys for tuning in for it. And again, thank you for sharing your story. It's always good to hear people see that success. And so for everyone who tuned in, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next time.